we actually had a caller call in to the Matt World Show, the show that follows my show, and talk about he believes that withholding tax is voluntary. And former Senator Harry Reid, when asked about Obamacare, said that paying income tax is voluntary. And someone recently mentioned again that on his request, his employer does not take out withholding tax because it's voluntary. So, Guru, what are the ramifications for someone who does not have withholding tax taken out of their paycheck?
Let me start by saying this, King. I don't recall any time that I've ever agreed with Harry Reid, and I'm glad to see that the streak is not going to be broken here, because he could not be more wrong. Paying tax for someone who had achieved his level of government to say paying taxes is voluntary, I mean, that's borderline nuts. I wish it were true, but it's not. Paying taxes is not voluntary. It is mandatory. However, there's a big difference. Withholding tax is actually voluntary, King. The issue is not whether you pay tax. The issue is the timing in which you pay tax. So there's two methods in which you could make payments into the government, and that is you could make quarterly tax payments, which are supposed to be evenly distributed over the 4 quarters in order to pay your taxes, and or withholding through your paycheck. Now, it's an interesting little loophole that exists, that if you withholding your paycheck, it's considered timely payment of your taxes no matter when you pay it. So as an example, you go through the entire year and you don't withhold any state or federal taxes the whole year. Then, if you're able to do it, your last paycheck of the year, you withhold all the taxes that would be due. Even though you did it only in one shot, because it was through your withholdings of a salary, it's considered to be timely payment. So that's one way where you could hold on to more money through most of the year if you're able to construct it that way. But the bottom line is this: when you get to the end of the year, you got to have your taxes paid. Now, if you don't, you face underpayment penalties. And that's just one final point I want to make here, King, is that with the new tax law, we know that there's people who are going to get benefits from that, and therefore their paychecks are going to be higher. However, if you're one of the people that somewhat get the short end of the stick, you may be underpaid with your taxes, which means if you're not paying attention or planning for this situation, you could end up finding yourself in a situation where you have underpayment penalties because you haven't withheld enough taxes throughout the year. So that's the summary there. I'm happy to report Harry Reid is wrong, and that's how I see it, King.